Dear students, this is Dr. Subrat Kumar Ratho, your course teacher. So today we will be dealing with community health and social service, unit 5, that deals with mental health. So as you know, because of this COVID-19 pandemic, your classes were off and you are about to lose the vital time before your end semester exam. Hence, we are directed to take online classes. So this is my first online class regarding your course. And as you know, Unit 5 is the last unit of your syllabus, SW 502. So here, we will study about what is mental health and how the concept of community mental health care system in India, Mental Health Act, common mental disorder, prevention of mental disorder, early identification of treatment, etc. and etc. Prior to that, it is our foremost duty to understand what is mental health. Technically speaking, when we talk about health, we take into consideration the other part, that is illness. So, if we comparatively study illness with health, that means talking about illness means something different that is uncommon and not expected, that creates a problem to the healthy life system. This illness occurs in any organ in your body. However, we will talk about mental health only here. We will talk about mental health. So, mental health refers to our cognitive, behavioral, and emotional well-being. Got it? Cognitive, behavioral, and emotional well-being. All these taken together refers to the standard of your mental health. Because mental health can affect daily life, relationship, even your physical health also. So when we talk about cognitive, behavioral or emotional well-being, we basically try to bring about a balance between life activities and efforts to achieve psychological benefits, emotional benefits. So, it refers to the opposite of illness. What type of illness? Mental illness. Over the course of our life, can see or you can also feel that people are sometimes very much moody. Sometimes they behave properly, sometimes they don't behave properly. Sometimes some people they talk themselves without any reason. Sometimes they irritate also. This condition refers to the mental health condition. But this mental health is not the outcome of a particular defect. Rather, certain factors are responsible for such mental activities or certain factors that affect your cognitive, behavioral and emotional level. Then what are those factors? Those factors basically refers to biological factors. As you know, biological means anything related to your organic structure, isn't it? However, when we talk about the biological factors responsible for mental health, we basically mean the brain chemistry. The second factor is life experience. For example, what you experience in life, you take them into grant. That means if you will experience bad about somebody or about something, then throughout your life you will perceive like that is a bad, or he is a bad, or she is a bad, or something like that, isn't it? So life experience basically deals with trauma and abuse. Got it? And the third factor refers to the family history of mental health problems. Family history. That means it is also a hereditary problem. Your thinking process depends upon the environmental condition, and your primary socialization begins within the family itself at the first stage. So if your family is not sound enough, if the members are fighting with each other, if you belong to a very poor family, struggling for 3 times of your livelihood or food, or if your family member is more than 10 and only one person is earning, rest 9 are depending upon him, that means you belong to a poor category where you lack hygiene, proper vitamins, everything else. So also with some hereditary problems. Hereditary problem refers to some mental illness which in lay language we call half mentality. Half mentality means someone is not behaving properly, whom the other perceive that he is not a normal person or she is not a normal person. You will find if your grandfather, if your mother, if your uncle, any one of them is mentally retarded, certainly that will affect your mental condition also. So, family history is the third factor that is responsible for mental health. Therefore, the question arises, how can we define a mental health? Or how can we define the concept mental health? So, let's talk about some of the definitions of mental health. As I have already told you, mental refers to the emotional, behavioral aspects of an individual. So, according to the Medilexicon's medical dictionary, mental health refers to, quote, emotional, behavioral and social maturity or normality, the absence of a mental or behavioral disorder, a state of psychological well-being in which one has achieved a satisfactory integration of one's instinctual drives acceptable to both oneself and one's social milieu, an appropriate balance of love, work and leisure pursuits, unquote, full stop. So what this medical dictionary says? It refers to the emotional, behavioral and social maturity or normal social behavior that a person bears. Got it? That means there is no type of disorder. That means whether that person belong to a family or belong to a society or belongs to a school, college, anywhere, any institution, if he is fit, that means he is behaving with others properly, he or she has a better understanding and thinks rationally, that refers to his normalcy, isn't it? That is why if everyone is accepting you and your behavior and they think that you are behaving or acting or doing your works properly, they will think that you are a good person, you are not mentally disordered. So, the lexicon medical dictionary defines like this. Secondly, the World Health Organization defines it as a state of well-being, in which the individual realizes his or her own abilities that can cope with the normal stresses of life so that he or she can work productively, fruitfully, and can contribute to his or her community as well. Got it? So, what is the definition given by WHO or World Health Organization? It refers to the same thing as already mentioned in Medilexicon medical dictionary. That means a state of well-being. Here the point that to be kept in mind is that WHO or the World Health Organization says you should able to cope with the normal stresses of life. This is the only point that differentiate mental condition, mental health definition from the Medilexicon medical dictionary definition. That means coping to the normal stresses of life. That means WHO definition is of recent one. Why? Because you see, no one is stressless in a modern society. A rich is also in stress. A poor is also in stress. How? See, if we will talk about Mukesh Ambani, isn't it? He is the richest person in India. So can we say that he is mentally fit, or he is mentally retarded, or he is mentally ill? We can't. However, anyone can say that Mukesh Ambani will be in stress also. Why? Because he has so many businesses. So, what he will be thinking about? He will be thinking about accumulating more and more wealth. But it is not an easy task. Because he has so many employees, he needs to pay them salary. He has so many servants working inside his. Isn't it? So, mental health deals with a concept called stress. That means there are some pressure on you. However, WHO says that we can call that person mentally healthy if he or she can adjust to those little stresses in life. Got it? So, how can we say that someone is not mentally healthy? To know this, the first thing that we have to see or we have to mark are the warnings or signs that found prior to any problem, mental problem, which we will call or which we will term as early warning Signs. Signs, not signs. I am talking about sign, S-I-G-N-S, not signs. That means, what are the symptoms? So, we basically call them early warning signs. Let's talk about some of the early warnings to any mental problem. First is sleeping disorder and eating disorder. That means eating or sleeping too much or too little. Second point is pulling away from people and usual activities. Pulling away from people and usual activities. That means sometimes one is supposed to get up early in the morning, finishing all his or her daily habits. He or she is supposed to go to the university and all these things. That means daily passage of life. But if someone is not doing that, if someone is getting late without brushing, taking bath, without having food in a hurry, he or she leaves for the university. Isn't it? So, that means he or she is not following his or her usual activities properly. That's why it is a symptom or it is a sign. The third point is having low or no energy. That means sometimes you feel that I can do this, I can do that, it's better to take some more rest, all those things. You are not feeling energetic. You are feeling dizzy or you are feeling tired, something like that. So, the third point was having low or no energy. The fourth symptoms refers to feeling numb, N-U-M-B. Feeling numb or like nothing matters. That means let it go, whatever it happens. That means कुछ भी होने दो, मेरा क्या जाता है. Such type of thinking, isn't it? दुनिया भासी जाओ, मोर कौन रही, isn't it? That is called as feeling numb or like nothing matters. That is the fourth sign. The fifth one is having unexplained aches and pains. That means sometimes you will feel pain in half side of your head or in the forehead or in the back side of your head. Sometimes you will feel pain in your muscles. Sometimes you will suffer from headaches. Sometimes you will feel some pain in backbone. All those things. These aches and pains are the symptoms of mental illness. Then comes the sixth point. Sometimes you will feel helpless or hopeless. This is the sixth point. or this is the sixth sign of mental illness. Helpless or hopeless. That means you think that no one is helping you. That will encourage your ego. You will refrain yourself, or you will not accept anything properly. Sometimes you will feel, I have done all those things, still I have not achieved anything. Or sometimes you will think, I have learned a lot but not able to get a job, and you will feel hopeless. Sometimes you will also feel that though I am reading a lot, but my marks in exam are not up to my expectation. So what is the need of reading a lot? Such type of tendencies that comes to your mind refers to feeling helplessness or hopelessness. That was the sixth sign. And the seventh sign that is mostly prevalent in modern society. You will find some people smoke a lot, drink a lot, or use drugs a lot to avoid certain type of mental worries. When you are in depressed mood, either you will smoke or drink or take drugs. For example, Anurag Kashyap. Anurag Kashyap, a Bollywood director, he usually smokes a lot. Though nowadays he is in news because he is always opposing the government's steps, and so on. In his personal life, he is a very frustrated person. He is suffering from various mental pressures. None of his film is giving or doing well in the box office. Neither his family life was good, nor his social life is good. To avoid such type of agonies, problems, he is taking cigarettes. That means he is smoking cigarettes a lot. Anytime he is drinking. So from here you can understand, if anyone is consuming alcohol a lot, smoking a lot, or using drugs a lot, that means he is not mentally fit. That means he is not mentally fit. Got it? This is the situation, or this is the seventh symptom of mental illness. Now let's come to the eighth symptom or eighth sign of mental illness. That refers to feeling unusually confused, forgetful, angry, upset, worried, or scared. That means you will find some of your colleagues are very much confused. Colleagues means your friends. I won't take their name, but you can mark it very well. Some of them do whatever they like. They were very much confused about their future. They were very much confused about their love life. They are very much upset with their daily habits, getting angry so early, all those things. If someone is having such problems, that means he is not mentally healthy, or he is going to be mentally ill. Then comes the ninth sign. Yelling or fighting with family and friends. That means some people are always fighting with their families and friends without any reason. They think that their families or friends are doing anything against his or her will. Though they are right in doing so, yet for the person concerned, it is something not good. That means he will fight or she will fight. So if someone is unnecessarily making a quarrel, making something against the family, that means he will be suffering or he is suffering from any mental illness. And the tenth sign of mental illness refers to severe mood swings. Severe mood swings. What is severe mood swings? Here you will see your batchmate Manas. Sometimes he becomes hyper. Sometimes he becomes egoistic. All those things. That refers to his mood swings. Sometimes he thinks, I should read a lot and should not disclose my credits to others. On the other hand, sometimes he thinks, what will I do after completion of my MSW? Everything. So his mood changes within no time. That is called as severe mood swings. And the last point or the last sign of mental illness refers to hearing voice or believing things that are not true. What does that mean? Sometimes people think that someone is calling them, someone is asking something, someone is playing some music, though those are not in real. Sometimes they feel someone is sitting next to them or next to him or her. Sometimes he feels or she feels that someone is pulling him or her. All these things refers to a feeling that has no reality, but still he or she believes like that. That means he or she is not mentally healthy. So, these 11 points are the early warning signs of mental illness. Sometimes these things are associated with certain factors which we will term as risk factors. Which we will term as risk factors. What are the risk factors? If a person is suffering from all the above signs, he is suffering from a mental disorder. So, what are the types of those disorders? Let's explain. When we call about the risk factors, we refer to the common disorders found among the people who are suffering from any type of anxiety, mood disorder, schizophrenia, and so on. These are the common disorders very much associated with mental health. So let's talk about the common disorders. Here, as I have already told, that the most common type of mental illness are anxiety disorders, mood disorders, and schizophrenic. Let's explain about anxiety disorder. What is an anxiety disorder? Anxiety disorder are mostly common type of mental illness. Anxiety disorder is the most common type of mental illness. What is anxiety then? Anxiety is a psychological concept that refers to any type of fear so if someone is having a severe fear to an object or a situation, we will term it, or we will call it as an anxiety disorder. So just keep in mind that anxiety refers to the severe fears only. Okay? Severe fears only. That means that talks about any severe fear factor. Let's have some example of anxiety disorders. A. Panic disorders. Panic disorders. What is panic disorder? Sometimes a person, without any reason, suddenly paralyzing terror, or feel that something disaster is about to take place. That means having a sense of major disorder or disaster, people come to a mental condition that forces them to do any act unintentionally. For example, you are traveling by a bus and suddenly someone is whispering that the bus is about to fall down. So what will be the situation? Everyone will try to come out of the bus suddenly. And as the bus contains a number of people, so if everyone will try to come out at first, then what will be the situation? There will be panic disorder. That means no one will care about others and try to come out of the bus as early as possible. So there will be a hodgepodge condition. That is called as panic disorder. The second is, or the point B is phobias. Phobia means disproportionate fear of objects. That means some people are very much fearful about a particular object or a person without any reason. Whether that object is good or bad, or whether that person is doing anything good or harm, without thinking about that, some people try to escape themselves from such type of conditions, or they will object that. That is called as phobia. That means disproportionate fear of objects. For example, nowadays most of the people have a concept or phobia towards Modi, which we term as Modi-phobic. That means whether Narendra Modi is doing good or bad, no one is thinking about that. But if he says something, everyone is opposing. And everyone means those who are not accepting him at all. For them, Modi is a phobia. For example, it's your West Bengal Chief Minister, it's your Congress party, they are very much Modi-phobic. So these phobias either occur in social field, in political field, or any situational activities. This is called as the second or the B point of anxiety disorder, phobia. Then comes the C, obsessive compulsive disorder. Obsessive compulsive disorder, or OCD. In short form, we call them OCD. Then what is this? Sometimes you will see people are very much obsessed towards something. That means obsession refers to constant stressful thoughts. And what is compulsion? A powerful urge to perform repetitive acts. For example, obsession, you see that in the contemporary world, people are very much obsessed toward the material culture. Everyone wants to accumulate wealth. Everyone wants to be a richest person. So we have a stressful, constant thought how to accumulate. All our accumulation of our material culture. That is obsession. And what is compulsion? Compulsion sometimes refers to a powerful urge to perform repetitive acts. For example, now it is COVID-19. This is a droplet infectious virus. So what the government is saying? It is saying repeatedly, wash your hands. In spite of your willingness, you are forced to wash your hand so that you won't be affected by COVID-19. This is a compulsion now. Hence, we call it obsessive compulsive disorder or OCD. Then point D. Point D refers to post-traumatic stress disorder. Post-traumatic stress disorder, or in short form PTSD. PTSD. This refers to a traumatic event. That means something horrible or frightening situation that someone has already experienced or witnessed. For example, though science claims that there is no concept of ghost, yet you are going alone on the road. You are passing by a bush and suddenly you heard some typical noises coming out of that bush. And after some time, you see that some certain thing passes by or passes nearby. So, you will feel frightened. So after returning from or after reaching home, you suddenly feel that you are not feeling well. That is your experience while passing through a lonely bush or a lonely road which has a dense bush nearby. So when someone will talk about certain type of super paranormal activities, or someone is talking about ghost stories, you will experience that and you will feel frightened. that is called as post-traumatic stress disorder. Means without any reason, sometimes when you are alone, you will think that some sound is creating or some noise is coming by or someone is dancing or someone is passing by. Such type of paranormal activities or imaginary activities, and you will be frightened. That is called as post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD. So all these four, A, B, C, D: A, panic disorder; B, phobias; C, obsessive compulsive disorder or OCD; and the D, post-traumatic stress disorder PTSD, comes under anxiety disorder. Next disorder is called, the second disorder is called as mood disorder. The second disorder is called as mood disorder. Mood disorder refers to your mental condition. Sometimes you are becoming maniac. Sometimes you are feeling lonely. Sometimes you are feeling aggressive. These are called as mood swings. You are not constant. You are not thinking properly. You are going out of that. Then what is mood disorders in the academic language? An affective disorder or depressive disorder. Mood disorder refers to affective disorder or depressive disorder. Let's have some example. Again, point A, major depression. What is that? That is major depression. The individual is no longer interested in and does not enjoy activities and events that they previously liked. That means, for example, Manas is very much interested in his academic career. He tries to earn good marks, earn good position, and also searching for a good job after completion of his MSW course. But nowadays, suppose he is not attending classes properly, he is not listening to me properly, or he is not, though he is attending classes but not writing properly or taking down notes properly. That means he is not enjoying the activities or the events that he previously used to. That is called as major depression. For example, if this will continue for a long time, it will take the concept of sadness. Point B, bipolar disorder. That means, on the one hand, someone is maniac, and on the other hand, depressed also. Maniac in Odia refers to Unmadana. So, what you will learn or what does this mean? That individual suddenly becomes aggressive but suddenly feels depressed. That's why it is called as bipolar disorder. On the one hand, you are very much aggressive. On the other hand, you are depressive. That is called bipolar disorder. Then comes the point C. Persistent depressive disorder. That means this is also called as dysthymia or mild chronic depression. Persistent depressive disorder is otherwise called as mild chronic depression that continues for a long time. So this is called as mood disorder. And the fourth one is, and the last point is D under mood disorder is SAD, seasonal affective disorder. SAD, seasonal affective disorder. Seasonal affective disorder is a type of depression that lacks daylight activity. That means some countries are there which have either long daytime or either long night time. On the other hand, either short daytime or short night time. In those areas, a certain type of depression takes place among the people. That is called as seasonal affective disorder. Also, you will find that in winter, day is smaller to night. You will feel sleepy for a long time, but suddenly you find it is 10 o'clock. But you are supposed to get early in the morning. So what will be the situation? That is called as seasonal affective disorder or SAD. So till now we have talked about two types of disorders, anxiety disorder and mood disorder. Then comes the third disorder, that is called schizophrenia. What is schizophrenia? It is a single disorder and it is not clearly mentioned in medical science or medical theories. However, the psychological theories of medical science talks about a type of thought that comes to the mind of the people within the age group of 15 to 25. That is called as schizophrenia. Sometimes this schizophrenia is referred to as positive symptoms. On the other times, it refers to a negative symptom. But keep in mind that it occurs within the age group of 15 to 25. For example, when has some positive symptoms, it includes hallucination. That means it is positive. Why it is positive? It can be cured. Hallucination or delusion or thought disorder. How many of you have gone through the movie Tare Zameen Par? In that movie, the little boy was suffering from dyslexia. That is a part of schizophrenia. That small boy was confused between the letters M and W. Sometimes such type of situation occurs most among the children. Those can be cured. There is no pathological aspects. But when schizophrenia refers to negative symptoms, it includes lack of motivation. What is lack of motivation? People, basically the students, feel that they don't like to read a lot. They don't try to achieve good mark. They don't feel anything positive. They think whatever we can do, but we will earn a little mark. We will secure a little mark. Why should we study? Why should we write the exam? These are such type of negative symptoms of schizophrenia. So, till now, we have tried to understand what is mental health, what are its early signs, and what are the mental illnesses. That means, what are the disorders that hampers our mental health. Under that category, we have talked about anxiety disorder, mood disorder, and schizophrenic disorder. In the next class, we will talk about mental health and wellness. So, thank you all for today's class. I hope you will learn a lot very soon. Try to note down what I have already told you so that it will help you to remember